My daughter's crush on my boyfriend went too far, now he's furious and wants her out of the house. Alright, so here's the deal, I'm 45, and I've been with my boyfriend, who's 51, for about 2 years now. We first crossed paths in a grief support group after both of us lost our spouses. His wife passed away from cancer, and I lost my husband in a car crash. Meeting someone who truly got what that kind of loss feels like, it was oddly comforting. I wasn't even thinking about dating at the time, but somehow it just happened, slowly and naturally. Just to give you a little background, I've got 2 kids, my daughter is 18, and my son is 17. My boyfriend has a 16-year-old son from his previous marriage. My son, honestly, doesn't seem to care much one way or the other about my relationship. He's your typical teenage boy, gives one-word answers, lives in his headphones, and is either gaming or out with his friends. Now, my boyfriend's son? Total sweetheart. When we first started seeing each other, I was nervous about how all the kids would mesh, but it's actually gone better than I expected. The boys don't really hang out much, they've got different hobbies. Mine is glued to his console, and the other's more into sports. But hey, they're polite to each other, and that's really all I can hope for right now. I should probably add that I've been a massage therapist for about 15 years, and my boyfriend is a funeral director. Yeah, I know, it's kind of a strange combo. But somehow, it works. He jokes that I take care of the living, and he deals with the dead. Morbid, I know, but after what we've both been through, sometimes dark humor is the only thing that makes sense. Honestly, things have been really good between us. Our parenting styles match up, we see eye to eye on money, and we both understand the need for personal space. He's also incredibly smart, like, scary smart. He plays chess like a grandmaster and speaks 6 languages, English, French, German, Spanish, Italian, and now he's learning Mandarin just for fun. And yet, despite all that brainpower, the man still leaves his laptop wide open when he walks off to the bathroom. That's how I know he's been browsing engagement rings. No joke. He really is cut out for his job, though. He treats grieving families with this calm, respectful presence, and I think losing his wife gave him a deeper sense of empathy. Most people wouldn't pick a profession like his, but he says it gives him purpose to be someone others can lean on in their worst moments. And I totally respect that. We took it slow in the beginning. For the first 6 months, we didn't tell our kids we were even seeing each other. We just grabbed coffee after group sessions, then worked our way up to dinner and movies. We made a point not to bring our kids into it until we knew this was serious. Looking back, I think that was smart. Everyone was still raw from losing someone so close, and we didn't want to add more instability. Now here's where things start to feel off. And it's the real reason I'm putting this out there. My daughter absolutely loves my boyfriend. When I officially introduced them, I was shocked at how quickly she warmed up to him, especially since she's always been really shy and had a tough time after her dad died. 4 months, she barely spoke to anyone. She was a total daddy's girl, and we butted heads a lot through her teenage years. But when she met my boyfriend, something flipped. She was smiling and chatting within minutes, and I didn't question it at first. I was just so relieved to see a glimpse of the old her again. Still, as time went on, certain things started to feel off. Like on Valentine's Day, he brought me this gorgeous bouquet, which I totally expected. But then he gave my daughter a single rose. She hung it upside down in her room to preserve it, and I remember thinking at the time, well, that's kind of sweet, I guess. But now? It doesn't sit right with me. I mean, who does that buys flowers for their girlfriend's daughter on Valentine's Day? I brought it up to a friend, and while she said it was thoughtful, the way she said it made me think she found it a little strange too. Then there's the whole morning thing. Every single day, she gets up early, sets an alarm, to make him a latte before he leaves for work. She never did anything remotely like that for her own dad, and she sure doesn't do it for me. When I mentioned it to her, she just shrugged and said he works hard and deserves it. And at night? She's waiting in the kitchen with a cold beer and a sandwich for him when he gets home. Sometimes she even stands by the window like she's watching for his car. One day, I walked in to find her in the laundry room ironing his shirts, his work shirts, all neatly hung up. I asked what she was doing, and she said they looked wrinkled and she knew he liked to look sharp. Thing is, the man uses a dry cleaning service. He doesn't need anyone ironing his clothes at home. But what really got under my skin was the chair. She went out and bought him this high-end ergonomic office chair with massage rollers built in, for his home office, no less. And let me just say, I'm a professional massage therapist. That's literally what I do for a living. I've got 2 hands and years of experience handling back pain. I don't need to be replaced by a damn chair. When I asked her about it, she just said, it's so he can work more comfortably from home. I wanted to scream. Those chairs are insanely expensive. She dropped nearly all her savings from her part-time job on it. Who does that for their mom's boyfriend? And it's not just the gifts and chores. She laughs at all his jokes, even the ones that are downright dumb. And suddenly, she's into classical music. He mentioned liking Mozart once, and now she's downloaded a bunch of playlists and that's all she listens to. She never had the slightest interest in classical music before any of this. And then there was that one time on his birthday, I'd already ordered his favorite cake from the bakery, something he specifically mentioned he liked. But she decided to bake him a cake from scratch anyway. She stayed up the whole night working on it, and when she brought it out, she looked so proud of herself. I felt like a total idiot. Of course, he had to take a slice from both cakes and tell us they were equally delicious. The whole situation felt like some weird competition I didn't even know I'd entered. Eventually, I sat her down and asked her straight up why she kept doing all these things for him. She just said, "I like him." I pressed her to explain what that meant, and she started rattling off all these reasons: he's kind, he's smart, he's funny, he actually listens to her when she talks. You know, that kind of thing. But the part that really stood out was when she said, "And I love the way he dresses." That's when it all started clicking into place for me, and I realized I needed to backtrack a bit. So, my boyfriend wears suits every day, real sharp, black suits with ties, because of his work. From the beginning, my daughter kept calling him that sharp-dressed man. She'd say things like, "Are you going to see your sharp-dressed man again, Mom?" Or, "When do I finally get to meet the sharp-dressed man?" I figured it was her way of giving her stamp of approval. She's always said she wanted to marry someone who wears a suit every day, so I thought she was just happy for me. But then she got really into old movies with well-dressed leading men, Cary Grant films, James Bond, that sort of thing. She even changed her phone background to a picture of Don Draper from Mad Men. At first, I brushed it off as a phase or just an aesthetic thing. But now, I'm not so sure. I'm starting to wonder if maybe it's not just admiration anymore, maybe it's a full-on crush. And yeah, even saying that out loud makes my stomach turn. But I can't ignore the signs. A few months ago, we bought a house together. It felt like a huge step, and I was fully committed. I really do love this man, and based on some accidental glimpses at his laptop, I'm pretty sure he's getting ready to propose. Honestly, for someone so brilliant, he's terrible at hiding surprises. The house isn't massive, but it's plenty big for the four of us. My daughter and son each have their own bedrooms, and there's a guest room for when my boyfriend's son comes to stay. He mostly lives with his mom and visits us on weekends. We've been slowly turning the house into a home, painting, buying furniture, making it ours. Naturally, my boyfriend and I share the master bedroom. But not long after we moved in, my daughter started coming up with random reasons to knock on our bedroom door at night. Silly stuff, asking about laundry or saying she heard a strange sound and wanted to see if we heard it too. It happened enough that my boyfriend joked about putting up a "Do Not Disturb" sign. I laughed at the time, but it was honestly starting to wear on me. Then came the bathroom incident. She accidentally walked in on him while he was washing his hands. Thank God that's all he was doing. But what really got to me was how she just stood there for a beat before casually saying, "Oh, sorry," like she wasn't sorry at all. I brought it up with her later, and she said the door wasn't all the way shut, so she didn't realize anyone was in there. But here's the thing, our bathroom door sticks. You've got to really tug it to open or close it. There's no way she didn't know. And then everything hit a boiling point last night. We were all in the living room watching a movie, me, my boyfriend, and my daughter. My son was out at a friend's house for some video game thing. My daughter went to the kitchen to grab drinks for everyone, which seemed normal enough. But when she came back, she handed my boyfriend his beer and then tried to sit in his lap. Tried being the key word. He immediately pushed her off and told her, in a voice I've never heard from him before, that what she did was completely out of line. They both looked stunned, her at his reaction, and him at what she'd just done. Then he got up and stormed upstairs to our room without another word. I followed him up to talk, but he was furious, more upset than I've ever seen him. He said flat out that my daughter needed to start looking for a new place to stay. He said this had been building for a while, and he wasn't comfortable with her living there anymore. That's when he told me there had been other moments I hadn't noticed, little things, like her brushing up against him or touching his arm for no real reason. I panicked. I told him about the sharp-dressed man thing and suggested that maybe if he didn't wear suits all the time, she wouldn't be so drawn to him. I know, it was a dumb thing to say, but I was desperate. He snapped back that I was being ridiculous and turned away from me. We went to bed without saying another word. This morning, I tried to patch things up by making him breakfast. He didn't touch it. Just said he was heading to McDonald's instead. Then he texted me from the parking lot and said we were going to have a serious conversation when he got back. Now I'm just here, sitting in this weird limbo, not knowing what to expect. I don't want to lose him. But I also don't want to throw my daughter out. And yeah, I get it, suggesting he change the way he dresses was a stupid idea. It came out in the middle of a meltdown. So, am I the bad guy here? Should I have caught on to this behavior sooner? What the hell am I even supposed to do now? Update, my phone's been blowing up with notifications, comments, messages, everything. Thanks to everyone who chimed in, even the ones calling me a crappy mom or a clueless girlfriend. Honestly, I probably deserve it. Some of y'all jumped to some wild conclusions. No, my boyfriend is not sleeping with my daughter. No, he's not grooming her. And yeah, for those of you saying I'm in denial, you're kind of right, just not in the way you think. Before I dive into what happened next, I want to acknowledge something. Yes, I know now that telling him to change his clothes was ridiculous. I said it out of panic, and I regret it. And to the person who asked why I didn't confront my daughter sooner, truthfully, I didn't want to believe it was anything serious. I kept hoping it was just a weird phase. I messed up. Anyway, my boyfriend did come back. And we finally had that serious talk. Turns out, there was a whole lot going on behind the scenes that I had no clue about. Like, enough for a full season of some twisted drama series. He showed me a bunch of text messages my daughter had sent him over the last few months. Nothing overtly sexual, but definitely inappropriate late-night messages like, "I miss you at 2 a.m," or "Are you awake?" followed by stuff like, "I can't sleep and wish I had someone to talk to right now." She also sent him things like, "You looked nice today, and thanks for listening yesterday, no one understands me the way you do." He showed me how he always responded appropriately, things like, "You should try to get some rest," or "I'm glad we talked, but don't forget your mom's always here for you, too." He never once encouraged anything inappropriate, which honestly came as a big relief. But that wasn't even the worst part. Turns out, my daughter had confided in him about a past situation with her basketball coach not long after her dad passed. From what my boyfriend shared, it was a lot more serious than I ever realized. The coach was in his 30s and had been texting her constantly, giving her rides home from practice, singling her out in ways that were clearly not okay. She was only 17 then, still legally a minor. My daughter had begged him not to tell me, and he kept it to himself because he didn't want to betray her trust while she was still grieving and vulnerable. That part really hurt. I mean, I'm her mom. I should have been the one she turned to. But I get it. She probably felt safer opening up to a man she trusted. And I also understand the position my boyfriend was in, either break her confidence when she was finally talking to someone or keep it from me and carry that weight. According to him, she's been using him like her own personal therapist for months. He honestly believed that the coffee, the beer, the chair, it was all just her way of saying thank you. He never picked up on the possibility that it was something more, not until that moment she tried to sit in his lap. That's when it clicked for him. He admitted he should have noticed the signs earlier, but he was so focused on being supportive and available for her that he missed what was really going on. The more we talked, the more things started to add up, how she always found excuses to talk to him alone, offering to help with yard work, or asking him questions about his job when I wasn't around. He genuinely thought she was just making an effort to bond. But now, looking back, he realizes she was creating opportunities to be alone with him. He apologized for jumping straight to saying she needed to leave. He admitted that was a knee-jerk reaction, more from being shocked and uncomfortable than actually wanting her out. He doesn't want to kick her out, not really. But he's right, we need to draw some serious boundaries, and she needs help. Real help. From a professional. I apologize too for the ridiculous comment I made about his suits. I was panicking, in denial, and just reaching for anything that could explain what was happening. But let's be honest, his clothes aren't the issue. I was just too scared to look the real problem in the face. After my boyfriend and I had what felt like an hours-long talk, I finally sat down with my daughter for the conversation I'd been dreading. She'd been hiding out in her room ever since the incident, only sneaking out when she thought no one else was around. As soon as I brought up what happened, the lap incident, she just broke down. Full-on tears, sobbing, apologizing over and over. She swore she didn't mean anything weird by it, that she just felt comfortable around him. I asked her directly if she had feelings for him, and she immediately got defensive. "Ew, no, that's gross. He's old," she said. But her face turned bright red, and she wouldn't meet my eyes. I explained to her that, whatever her intentions were, sitting in a grown man's lap, especially her mother's boyfriend, is completely inappropriate. I told her that some of her other behavior had made both of us uncomfortable, too. She just kept crying and repeating that she was sorry. I didn't tell her that I knew about the basketball coach. I didn't want her to feel like my boyfriend had betrayed her confidence. I'm hoping that with therapy, she'll find a safe place to open up about it in her own time. Because yes, therapy is officially happening now. I should have insisted after her father passed, but both of my kids said they didn't want it, and I didn't push. That was a mistake, one I won't repeat. When I brought up the idea of therapy, she actually seemed relieved. She admitted she's been struggling with sleep and just hasn't felt like herself since her dad died. She said talking to my boyfriend helped because he understands grief in a way most people don't. I told her I get that connection makes sense, but there still have to be healthy boundaries. She nodded and agreed to give therapy a try. Out of curiosity, I did ask her about the suit obsession. She got this far-off look in her eyes and said, "Dad never dressed up. He was always in jeans and t-shirts. I just think guys in suits look, I don't know, like they have their life together." That hit me harder than I expected. It was sad, really. I think she's been searching for a sense of safety and stability, trying to find something familiar to hold on to. And my boyfriend, with his professional demeanor and compassion, probably looked like a replacement for something she lost. But I swear if that disgusting basketball coach ever shows his face around here again, and my daughter asks why I'm in jail, well, I guess that'll be the moment I tell her I know everything. For now, though, her healing is the most important thing. And yes, I looked him up. He's no longer coaching at her old school. Moved to another state. Probably running from something, the coward. I hope karma catches up with him. My boyfriend and I are good again. No one's moving out, but things are strained. My daughter's pretty much quarantined herself in the basement. She only comes upstairs when she knows no one's around. And if she does happen to run into my boyfriend, she bolts like a scared cat. It's awkward. But maybe that's what needs to happen for now. My son, of course, has no clue any of this is going on. He asked at dinner the other night why everyone was acting weird. I told him we'd had a disagreement. He shrugged, mumbled something, and went right back to his phone. I swear, sometimes I envy teenage boys and their magical ability to ignore emotional tension completely. My boyfriend's doing his best to give my daughter space while still showing he cares. It's a tough line to walk, but I think he's handling it as well as anyone could. He suggested that, going forward, he'll only have any serious conversations with her when I'm there too, just to make sure there are no misunderstandings. I think that's a smart move. Right now, we all need time to breathe, process, and let some of the tension settle. My boyfriend already helped me find a few therapists in town who specialize in grief and trauma. I've scheduled her first session for next week. I honestly don't know how this is all going to play out. The air still feels thick around here, and sometimes it feels like we're all tiptoeing around one another. But at least it's out in the open now. Well, most of it, anyway. As far as my relationship goes, we're just taking it one day at a time. The whole engagement ring thing is probably on pause for now, and that's perfectly fine. We need to focus on getting our family to a healthier place before taking that next big step. Thanks to everyone who gave me a much-needed wake-up call. If anything major changes, I'll post an update. But honestly, I'm hoping for a stretch of plain old boring normal. Like arguing over who's doing the dishes or picking a movie for Friday night. That kind of stuff sounds like a dream right now. Edit, thanks for all the kind messages. To those who asked about my daughter's social life, yes, she does have a few close friends from high school, but they've all gone off to different colleges. She's doing online classes at the local community college while working part-time at a coffee shop, so her chances to meet new people are pretty limited. That's something else we're going to work on, helping her connect with folks her own age. And no, I haven't confronted the coach, and I don't plan to. As much as I want to rip him apart, my daughter's healing has to come first. Maybe someday, when she's ready, we can talk about reporting him. But that'll be her call. Also, huge thanks to whoever suggested family game night. We actually gave that a shot last night. Just played a simple card game. It was still a little tense, but better than the silence. Baby steps, I guess.